Welcome back. We're glad you're with us. For those that are just joining us, welcome on board. Let's now transition into our Kickstarter discussion. Preparations for Uganda's 6th census. Is Uganda set for the first digital exercise of that nature? I'll be introducing my guests very shortly, but the preamble: every 10 years, Uganda holds a national census, and the last one was conducted in 2014. The census figures play a critical role in guiding planning, policy formulation, program implementation, as well as monitoring development progress in line with national development. The 2024 census will be the 6th such exercise to be conducted since Uganda got independence in 1962. In particular, it will be the 3rd to be conducted by Uganda Bureau of Statistics that was established by an Act of Parliament in 1998, and it will be the first paperless exercise. Joining me in studio is the Executive Director of Uganda Bureau of Statistics, Dr. Chris Mukiza. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, Chris.
How are you doing?
I'm fine. Good morning, viewers.
News of the census launch that was conducted, of course, at Kololo, presided over by President Museveni, got the nation excited in so many ways, including the fact that apparently it's going to be a digital exercise, meaning we won't have enumerators who usually carry books that are so big and visit each family so that they can get those details. We shall be delving into the digitization process and what exactly it will entail. But first and foremost, tell us about the launch of this particular census and the dynamics that led to the postponement of the launch. It was supposed to be done earlier than the latest date. What informed that decision?
Well, what matters is that the census was launched on Tuesday by His Excellency the President of the Republic of Uganda. There were other engagements that could not enable us to launch earlier. Because given the importance of census, the President was very much in the thick of things. And because of his busy schedule, the earlier one was rescheduled, but was never late. It came within 1 week and a half.
All right. So that erases the fact that there could have been a problem or two, especially regarding either funding or...
No. It's the engagements the President had.
Absolutely.
And he was the one to launch the census.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let me go straight into what matters to us right now. The population of the country. What are the estimates? Can you just take us through the crust of the estimates that are and how the Bureau of Statistics is mapping out this exercise as we wait for 2024?
Yes, currently we estimate to be 42.6 million.
42.6.
That's the growth from 34.6 when we last conducted census in 2014. The actual count in May will give us a proper picture of how many we are and where people are. Then we are doing pre-census activities. Yes, count is one time, but there is a lot of work that goes in before we do census. So now about mapping, we are mapping the whole country. Every household is being listed, and we are getting the GPS coordinates of each household, each infrastructure, each facility in the community, so that we can be able to locate where people and services are. Currently, we have finished mapping 86.5% of the whole country.
86.5. Wow.
Meaning we are remaining with around 13.5% to complete. And that 13.5 is largely cities. Cities, we have 10 cities plus Kampala, the 11th.
Okay.
We are treating Kampala as a metropolitan, which means we are going to have Kampala, Capital City Authority. We are going to have Mukono and Wakiso as one metropolitan, and this one will be mapped last, for reason that the developments in the city are very rapid.
Okay.
And we don't want to miss any household during the census. So why we map is to ensure that we prepare adequately for the actual census count. We shall know how many equipments we want, how many enumerators we want, because each enumeration area is the smallest statistical unit that an enumerator can handle within a given period of time. And as I told the nation on Tuesday, this statistical unit remains the same unit for 10 years until the next census. So we have to do a thorough job to establish that statistical unit, the statistical administrative area for us. So now the mapping is, as I said, is geo. We are getting GPSs. We shall have the map, and you are right, we are going to use paperless census. Instead of people coming carrying a map, a printed map, the map will be in the tablets.
On the tablet, yeah.
And so when an enumerator comes to a household with a questionnaire there in the tablet, he'll be led to that map with all the households there. Whichever household he marks becomes green. The other ones are red.
Okay.
This is meant to establish, to know that the enumerator can see, I don't know, I still have some enumerated households. And so the parish supervisor would also be able to know that this enumerator has completed or not yet completed. So there is no missing any household at all. Even at the headquarters, we shall be monitoring. So it has interactive map, interactive enumeration, because the many complaints we have had from public from previous censuses is that not all of them are covered. And we now want to cover everyone, everywhere.
Okay. Now, with regard to the estimated, you said 46? 46 estimated. Let's take the narrative that we know that we are 46 million, and at that point in time, when you look at the last 10 years and correlate the population ratio versus the rate of growth, I do not know whether it's something that should alarm somebody or we are well within the comfortable rate of growth when it comes to population increase.
Well, prior to 2014 census, the population growth rate was 3.2%, which was a little bit higher, one of the fastest in Africa and in the world. Then when you conduct the census 2014, it reduced slightly to 3.0%. And that's, you may think 0.2 is not something, but
it sounds very minute, but statistically it's a huge.
So we saw a decline in population growth, meaning the fertility rates are reducing. And we can also confirm this when you look at the recent Uganda demographic survey that will be published this year. The fertility rate has reduced by about 4.7 children per a woman in reproductive age. Before it was 5.2. So the fertility rates are reducing. And although they are reducing, though, even the death rates are reducing.
Okay.
And the reason for death rates, especially infants and children, is because of availability of health facility services and immunization.
Okay.
So whereas we are experiencing a reduction in fertility rates, even death rates are reducing, meaning the population growth is not going to reduce drastically. We shall establish how far we are after the census.
Okay. You introduce something that is very pertinent when it comes to the dynamics of population growth, fertility. A reduction in fertility rates can be looked at in many dimensions. Others could say it's a good thing. Others could say it informs us of a trigger or indicators that we should pay attention to. Why is fertility dropping? Are those statistics captured by UBOS?
Yes, it does.
Why is it so?
There are reasons for fertility that determine fertility. Things are like cyclical.
Okay.
Why in the early times fertility rates were high was because parents take children as assets and look after them in old age.
So the more children, the more children you one had, the social welfare buffer it became.
Because, yes, you are right. Because of lack of social welfare in the country, parents would want to have many children. And what aggravated the issue, excuse me, was that there was high infant mortality rates. So a child will not be sure that the child will live beyond 5 years at that time. So they would procreate every time.
Okay.
They would produce as many as possible with the hope that even with the death that was rampant in those days, they would have some to survive and look after them. But as time went by, with immunization and the infant mortality reduced, then the choices to procreate also families have to, they reviewed them. Secondly, education of girl child matters.
Yeah.
Because
the more educated the population is,
the more educated. When you keep a child in school for a longer time, then they will not produce. The other time, girl child was not going to school.
Being married off.
So they would be married off even you, at the adolescence, at 13. But now when you are in school, with the advent of universal primary education and universal secondary education, they stay in school longer. And once you delay the child in school, then you are also restraining the child from getting pregnant, early pregnancy, and so forth. Now, even with higher education, you get a degree, you have delayed longer. These are very many years.
Yeah.
Now, after getting education, employment matters also in fertility.
If you don't have a job, there is no point.
If you don't have a job, you produce more. But if you have a job and you are earning, the employment earning, you have to make a choice.
Yeah.
This is what we call opportunity cost. You have to have opportunity cost between earning from employment or producing. Because once you are producing, some companies will tell you, you first finish your thing, then, and the leave structure was not very conducive. So a person will not keep procreating when you have now no bread to eat. So once we provide quality employment to especially women, be sure you reduce fertility. So there are so many dimensions that lower fertility. The other one is poverty.
Poverty.
Once you are poverty stricken, you will think the more children you have, will be having many labor.
The better chances.
You have people to work for you.
Improving productivity.
Yes, they work for you. Bring
in terms
food
of labor
table.
as in work.
Yes, or you send somebody to go and kupakasa, look for you for money.
Okay.
So even poverty, these things are intertwined. Poverty is caused by high fertility, but also high fertility is caused by poverty. So they are procyclical.
Okay, so across the country, which are the points or areas that are known to either be growing in terms of population at a higher rate than the others? Are they the urban centers? And of course, many of the factors that we have studied in school that lead to a population growth in urban centers are pretty much known. But having a specific understanding of our situation would offer us a better perspective to understand why is one particular part of the country overly populated, or why is the rate there higher than the other.
The reasons are exactly what I have said.
What you just said. And okay, what I want to know is which are these spots? Busoga, the Central Region,
yes, they are,
Northern Uganda?
They are standardized facts that regions with high poverty rates have high fertility rates. And therefore, high population growth rates. Regions, or the regions with cultural underpinnings that restrain, that still restrain a girl child from going to school, also have high fertility rates. For urban areas, the growth is attributed to immigration from the rural areas to immigration, looking for work.
Looking for work.
And
better life.
And thinking that when they come to the urban areas, they'll have high quality life, they'll have very good medical care, the roads are very okay, etc. But generally, the highest region with the highest poverty rate is Karamoja, followed by Acholi and Busoga.
Okay. Karamoja, Acholi, Busoga,
Bukedi, and Kigezi.
Kigezi.
Kigezi is obvious. Kigezi is also highly populated because of one, its geography. It's a cold place. It's a cold place.
Okay.
Then, of course, where there is no electricity, people go to bed early. When it is cold, no electricity. But if now
all the factors come together and play.
They pray and they go to bed early, and then
interesting.
Chances of procreating, even without choice.
Even without choice.
Are higher.
Okay.
But if you are here and you are in a light, from news, you are football, you are where, then you are extending. So really the social and economic facts matter.
Now, the
but of course we are not saying population growth is bad.
It's not a bad thing.
The only problem is that the growth of population should be matched by the existing resources. Land is fixed.
Thank you very much.
It's finite.
You have preempted my question, especially in light of the consistent gospel that President Yoweri Museveni has spoken about, that in order to grow and transform ourselves, Ugandans need to be able to sell to themselves. Growth of a market is pretty much down to the fact that people must be more or many to provide the necessary market for the products, but also to be producers themselves. In the process of planning, Uganda Bureau of Statistics is a critical actor when it comes to national planning, and I'm sure you do sit on boards and rooms where the nexus between population growth rates or numbers is worked out vis-a-vis service delivery and how the budgeting for the various aspects is concerned. Uganda's condition right now, we have a budget that is going to hit 53 trillion. And then that is, of course, an increase from the very last, but it's natural. Budgets will increase as we go further because the services that need to be delivered are needed and they have to come at a cost. Now, Uganda's population vis-a-vis service delivery, there are always inconsistencies here and there, some of them very pronounced, others behind the scenes, known only to the planners. What are the challenges that you would say should be worked on as fast as possible in order not to see a country that is strained by its own population, despite the fact that we are not actually very many? Estimates of 46 are quite modest.
Yes, huge numbers to increase consumption. And that argument holds as long as those huge numbers have the ability
And are productive.
And have the ability to purchase what is produced.
That's right.
Two, whether those numbers have capability to produce, whether they have access to the productive assets. So his argument is correct somewhat, but we also need to make sure that these numbers are of quality.
Yeah.
If you ask me, I would rather have quality children than quantity. Because you can be only one person in a village. You can even see it when you go to Christmas, and their consumption is bigger than the only one. So I think we need to address areas that can facilitate or give capacity to the huge numbers to be able to produce and also consume. Ability to consume,
That's right.
capability to produce. If we cannot get enough production if we are still using rudimentary methods of farming, for example, because that's where you have comparative advantage. Where we are still depending on rain-fed agriculture. So there we need to mechanize agriculture, get irrigation, and also get storage of the commodities that the large population will produce with those mechanized and modern methods of farming. So government in planning, it is being emphasized in the agro-processing program.
Okay.
Those things are there. But what is happening is that we have very good plans and implementation has been weak. So the nexus between a plan and plan implementation need to be strengthened.
Okay, that's interesting, and it offers me an opportunity to raise a question that we've been raising as Morning at NTV to government executives, because the lamentation about implementation and execution, should it be coming from the captains of agencies? And we would expect, for example, for technocrats and everyone involved in the planning process, for example, at Uganda Bureau of Statistics, to understand the execution dynamics and implementation of the things. Is it down to resources? Because that's a very convenient reason. Many Ugandans say we don't have the money, we don't have the others claim they don't have the cars to drive to these places. Where is the problem and how can we identify the magic bullet so that the lamentation about implementation of existing frameworks, blueprints, and pieces of legislation is completely put away and we put ourselves on a path of development that we can achieve within our means?
Well, the executives are not actual implementers.
Okay.
if you understand very well the development architecture of Uganda, is that we are operating a decentralized mechanism of service delivery, decentralization, and that's where the problem is.
Who has that? Has it disempowered the critical pillars of who are supposed to act?
It has actually empowered. The philosophy is that it empowers the population to determine which services are given to them, how they are given to them, and in which form. And the population is able. But now, the implementers at the local government level, especially lower local governments, sub-county, town councils, and then higher local government districts and cities. And that's where focus should go. Because these are the resource absorbing powers, the local government. These are the production units. We don't produce at Statistics House, so neither at Ministry of Finance.
Yeah.
The plans are there, the implementation is there. And what is more critical is that we do not have adequate statistics at those local government level to inform the engineering of the process there. They are not interested. There is fragmentation of service delivery at the districts.
Okay.
You find a district agriculture officer is doing his own things, a health officer doing his own things, the production, the engineering, they are doing their thing. They need strong coordination at that level. The planning unit, the other day we had a meeting with the Planners Association. They don't know what happens within their districts.
There's a lot of uncoordinated troop movements.
They wait for donor. When a donor comes, this money is for this department, directly linked to central government, and the district, the planning is not cohesive. And that's the problem. So we need to systems re-engineer how the local governments are being managed and works. And that's why we shall achieve whatever government plans and development plans.
Dr. Chris Mukiza, thank you very much for that perspective. Time is not our best ally. We can talk population matters until the chickens come to roost, but we're going to have to leave it there. Many thanks for making time. Now, before we go on ground to Stephen Mbide, let me just go through a ritual for the day, and of course take out some shouts out to manager at Simba for birthday wishes there, and that is coming from your friends and talents, of course, when it comes to management at Simba. Happy birthday to Victoria Nalumansi. Victoria Nalumansi is the name, I guess. All right. I hope the stars spell your name into a glorious destiny, and that your days and years ahead are fruitful. That is Victoria Nalmansi. Happy birthday. These wishes are coming from your friends, family, as well as your colleagues. All right, let me now go to Stephen Mbide, who is standing by. He's in town, on ground. Good morning, Stephen.